It's Monday, March 21st. Coming up live on The View. Kick off your week with the hottest topics on television. From rumors Sheen may be headed back on 2.5 Men.
Winning.
To the outrage over the iPad app that claims it cures homosexuality. And Barbara's back from London with all the royal wedding scoop and telling you why she flipped her lid more than once. Plus, Kiefer Sutherland's telling you if rumors are true that 24 is finally headed to the big screen, and how he's handling his Broadway debut in the classic play That Championship Season. And his co-star funny man Jim Gaffigan's telling you what it's like sharing the stage with a seriously A-list cast. Then, the legendary Dick Cavett's looking back at his most amazing and awkward moments with the biggest names in the world. All that, hot topics and more, coming up live on The View.
Welcome to The View. Welcome to the Dapper View. I mean, my God, you guys looking like something edible and you looking magnificent. You're back. Tell us everything. Where you been?
We missed you.
Oh, I missed you. Well, so let me describe what, you know, they love hats in England.
Yes. Is that where you were?
Yeah, that's right. And I don't know whether they love hats because it's a very fair complexion or the pigeons. Not sure which.
I think
the weather. Because it's always raining.
So I went to London, spent the week there because we're doing a special on the royal wedding. I think we're doing it April 18th, so I had to go to do interviews. So part of the doing, by the way, I didn't bring you back anything.
I realized that, Barbara. She always steals something from one of these.
No, I bought, it was too heavy. I bought this at the airport. This is nice. See, everything is, you know, all kinds of things. Yeah. You know, so and I bought a mug.
For you or for us?
No, not for you. For me.
But
that's the way it goes. So I'll get back to the hats. Let me get back to that. So you know that when we see pictures, you see a Camilla in a great big hat. You know, yeah, that was her wedding hat. And you see Kate, whom we're now calling Catherine.
Oh, look at that.
With that hat, and you wonder how it stays on. Okay, so the best known milliner is a man named Philip Tracy. You have his hats.
Yes, I do.
Right?
I own several of his hats.
So
gorgeous.
you own several. So he makes hats, as you see, for Camilla and for royals and so on. So I went to his shop and tried on a whole bunch of hats. You have to tell me, you know, what was I going to say? I was
you look like a
put my top hat. Yeah, we're going to do a number.
Did you decide on this one and others?
Well, originally, I bought a great big one. And then, after I bought it, I obsessed because I thought, I'm never going to wear this. Because we don't wear hats. So then I returned it, and I got this one. This is his
sexy. You look like a sexy spy.
I look like a sexy spy.
A sexy spy. You know, I love it.
Well, very Judy Garland.
Yes.
Very Judy Garland.
Can you tell us who you interviewed?
I want to show you all my hats.
Yeah, show me the hats.
Okay, so here is a whole. There you go. See, now we laugh at that, but
I like that one.
Would you ever wear this in New York?
Yes, I would.
That's
pretty.
I want that hat.
Oh, Barbara.
That's the kind of hat, that little one that Kate wears, and it stays on with like a rod, like a headband.
Gosh, these are just
incredible. See, I thought that was, that's my favorite.
You look like a big geranium.
You really have
that is a great hat.
I like that one.
Everything's on the side. See? Look how sexy that is.
I like everything on the side for you.
This one.
Yeah, I don't like that one.
So is this.
That's Lady Gaga. He made that for Lady Gaga.
And there's the one
that's the hat that I bought.
Look at this one.
You really work well in hats.
Anything that's tipped over to the side on you, Barbara, I like.
Wear it on the side.
Yeah, like I'm not as crazy about that one. Tip to the side, love it.
You could go on and on, but that's the way they dress. See, that's beautiful.
You look great in hats, though, Barbara.
Why do they wear hats?
When did you have time to do any interviewing?
This was part of it.
What is that? Somebody's button?
This was part of it. Now, why do they wear hats and we don't? It's not really the pigeons. Well, you do.
I do. I wear hats all the time. I love them.
I wear
in
hats
this
a lot.
country.
I think it used to be. I remember when I was younger, and people in my family wore hats because they were, back east.
I bet still when
go to-
black women go to church,
yeah, they
always
wear
have on a
hats.
fabulous
On
hat.
your show, Sherry, you had the whole episode about the hat, giving
when
somebody the
black women
hat.
going to church. Even for Easter, I got a huge hat that I'm going to wear
I got
for
a
Easter.
fabulous hat for Easter.
For Easter?
Yeah.
One of those big ones.
Then
you know-
maybe I should have kept the big hat. Bought the big hat.
You should have bought a few more of those.
Yes.
You didn't buy them?
They're not cheap.
How much was this hat? How much was
This
this?
was
Remember, it's also euros.
Euros.
no,
Yeah.
not in England, not euros.
I'm
it's
sorry,
dollars in
pounds.
England.
Pounds.
It's a buck and a half.
It's just a buck and a half, yeah.
Yeah.
So you tried on
This
hats.
was
What else is going on?
470 pounds.
Pounds. Which is
Just almost
Pounds, and that's all, and you
$900.
have to double that on
Yeah,
it. So this is
almost
like,
900.
yeah. I mean, I got carried.
one and a
Yeah,
half?
I
One
got
and a
carried
half.
away.
Barbara,
Sure did. No wonder why.
you know what? For that amount of money, come to church with me and you go to the bathroom 3 times so people can see your hat. That's what you do. 3 times.
I'm wearing
That's
this
what you do.
throughout the show.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
The amount of money this cost me, I'm
Yeah.
wearing it every single day.
That's
Where-
why
where
we
is
didn't
your
bring
head,
This is
Barbara?
why she didn't bring us presents. She spent all her
no
dough on a
money.
hat.
Had no money to buy
when
this
she didn't have any money to buy
What was
anything.
happening in the UK? Is everybody kind of getting all...
First of all, Westminster Abbey, which is where the wedding is taking place,
Right.
they are literally, that front is cobblestones. They are vacuuming the cobblestones. They are polishing all of the statues so
Yeah.
that, everything is as high sheen as you could want.
Right.
And there is, we're talking about a lot here, but there it's part of the whole scene.
Right.
Everybody is talking about it. But Joy and I were talking. The Queen is now 84. You cannot abdicate. It's against the law. You can't say, oh, I think I'll give it to my younger son. No. So let's say the good Queen lives at least another 10 years, okay? Charles is 62, so he is then 72 before he becomes king. That's an old king. So then he would
Can I
be the
interrupt
oldest
you? The
king.
Queen Mother lived to be 104,
I
I
know.
believe, and those are her genes. So I don't think she's got
Well,
10. She's got 20 years.
Okay, 20 years. So now Charles is 62 to 82.
82.
And let's say he's got 20 years. 10 years, right? Okay,
92, maybe.
But this young William, whom we're all embracing
He's
in this...
29 now.
He's going to be like 60 by the time he becomes king.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You have a lot of wisdom. By the time
Well,
you
he'll
get
have
60.
a lot of wisdom. But right now, they're young and they're fresh and
Can't
they're
she
beautiful.
retire if she wants to, Queen
No.
Elizabeth? No, not allowed
No.
to retire.
No.
You're not allowed to.
But you know what else they're trying to change the law on, which is interesting? Queen Elizabeth, remember, there were no sons in the family, so she became queen.
Right.
But the way the law is now, if there's a son, even if he's younger, he becomes the king.
Really?
And some people want to change the law
They
and
should.
say, times have changed, and it should be the firstborn.
Of course.
So, there's more tradition probably in that country,
Yeah.
and that's what we love.
Yeah.
The parades, and the stuff, and the horse guards, and the carriages, and
Well, let me ask you. Is it traditional for a prince to fall in love with a scantily clad young lady? Because the dress that Kate Middleton wore at a 2002 fashion show supposedly sparked the royal poof. And once William saw her in that on the catwalk, he said, hey, Queenie, my Queenie. And it sold for $125,000.
Is it a dress or mosquito netting?
It's actually a skirt.
Well, the woman who made it,
Originally.
the woman who made it, who never had met Kate, is a woman named Charlotte Todd, and she made the dress at the university. The assignment was the art of seduction. It was supposed to be a skirt. Kate, who was imaginative, wore it as this little
How
dress.
much do you think I can give us some pair of old Spanx?
But in England, they call her a commoner. And,
She's a commoner, but isn't she royal on one side or
No,
something?
she's royal on no side.
No,
Her
she's just
Not even
grandfather...
the back of it? No.
Her grandfather was a coal miner, and she's the first, quote, commoner, for so many years.
So insulting.
Generations
Commoner.
and
You're
generations.
Yeah.
It was an arranged marriage.
Yeah.
Even Princess Diana, she was aristocracy. She had to be a virgin. Kate and William are living together.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
the times have changed.
I just want to say for this...
sorry. I was just going to say it's also great because, when Elizabeth was younger, a younger woman, her sister fell in love with a guy.
Margaret.
And
and the
Margaret.
name was
And the
not
Queen said, no. You're not going to marry him.
That's right.
You can't. And she had
Wasn't
that
that
power.
Townsend?
She had that power to quash a
That's
romance.
right.
I'm sorry, Shay, I didn't mean to cut you off.
And then
by the
Put
way-
your shirt on
But then
backwards.
didn't she married a photographer,
Yeah.
didn't she?
Did you
And
Did you notice this, Barbara? Do you know that this is on backwards?
Oh, I put my dress on backwards. The tag is right here.
It looks the same front and
I know, you
back.
can't tell. But
We wouldn't even known.
But it's not fitting. Now what? Because it's not fitting here because there's not supposed to be anything here. This is back.
That was working on me backwards.
Yeah, you would fit either side, but it's different. You know what? We're going to try to get Sherry rearranged, and we'll come back with more Hot Topics. Well, the U.S. has just entered its third war, joining France and Britain in strategic missile and bomb strikes on Libya. The military says our offensive will be over in a matter of days and that we're there to protect the people of Libya. Now, Gaddafi is not a target. That's what they're saying.
How does war only last a matter of days?
Because they think he's going to leave.
But
That's what they thought in the beginning.
when we liberated Kuwait, it only lasted a very short time, so they think they can do that again.
But there's a...
Who's
Excuse
they?
me, miss, where'd you get that hat?
You didn't give us a gift, so I'm just going to borrow this hat and live vicariously through you. For the rest of the show, I will.
I see. One of the problems, and this is what you're talking about, is that we don't really know why we're there. When we had the war and we liberated Kuwait, we knew what our objective is. What is our objective? Is it to get rid of Gaddafi? Supposedly not.
Well, if you take the president at his word, it's to help the people, to save the civilians and people that he was planning on murdering.
But then why, some are asking then why take so long to act? You know, one of those that are questioning why the delay, why the deliberation would be Senator John McCain, who said that
he was trying to get his allies together.
Is it good to just act quickly without thinking?
I don't know. You know, he had said that if it were no fine zone weeks ago, we wouldn't need a war.
Everything that you're raising and all of the programs yesterday goes into the same thing. What is our foreign policy? Are we going to go into every country in which there are uprisings? We don't know who the people were who are, you know, protesting. We don't know whether we want to get rid of Gaddafi. We're certainly not going to use ground troops. It's this uncertainty that each one of us is expressing.
So how does this affect
that's
us
so
here?
confusing. Well, it certainly will affect. It's costing us money. We have economic problems here. We don't know exactly what it's going to lead to.
But Barbara, what's really disheartening is that when they put the allies together, France and England and us, the Arab League...
some of the Arab countries.
The Arab League was on board. Now it's pulling back and saying, well, we didn't know that there was going to be so much, you know, violence. Excuse me, what did they think was going to happen when they said there was a no-fly zone going in there? Well, I mean, that's it.
And
you cannot trust these people.
And by the way, you say we're at war. You cannot be at... We have a law that Congress has to approve of going to war. It's also
They haven't
murky.
done that since
and
the Korean War.
So they really haven't said we're at war. It's kind of quiet.
What
It's
our
not been
objective
declared.
is.
TMZ hasn't said.
But is it, I mean, Bush, hang on, just to go back.
Says it, then it'll be,
You know, President Bush, for whatever reasons, if they're defended or not, took a lot of heat for going into defending freedom against terror, right, in the world. And I seem to know...
What is it doing?
In the world, exactly.
Well,
but I'm
but he
saying
picked the
now,
wrong country.
there are
We
a lot
know
of war
that, yeah.
protests. Why are we at war? We should have peace. I have not seen the same pushback from people.
Please, the Democrats
right
are
now.
all over him. Are you kidding? They want
As
him
of recent, right. Well, some aren't recently, but it's taken a long time.
Well, but I think that people kept saying, but you see, I think this is like a no-win situation because when he didn't do anything, immediately everybody said, why isn't he doing something? Why isn't he doing something? Well, now he's done something and people are going, why have you done this? Now, I think he didn't I think the answer to, or maybe one answer to the question that you asked a minute ago was that he did not feel, I don't think the president felt that this was our place to say it. I think the rebels had to say, you've got to come and help us. And he didn't feel that America should be put in a position
And it was
alone.
not in our national interest.
Without the help.
We all know that allies tend to, and we saw this happen before, that allies tend to pull out too.
Yep.
So, and who's left standing there? We are.
Can I just say something to that? Because the French ambassador, one of the French guys, whatever, because they're involved here, they were saying that to the French, this is like if something happened in Central America or on our borders someplace, because Libya is very close to France. So it's their problem, really. It's close to them. They need to step up. And Italy isn't right there, and let them do it. I don't see why we have to stay back and get us. Yes.
Afghanistan.
Right. That's something different, I think. That's
we're still there. That's why I'm saying we are still there. We still don't know what our objective is. We're not sure what our objective is.
We're rooting out terrorism in Afghanistan. That's not the issue in Libya.
No, but I'm bringing it up because I'm saying that's something we're in deliberately. That's prolonged. I think.
This is going to go on for a while.
We're in Afghanistan, now we're over in Libya. We're kind of strapped right now.
We don't know what the objective is.
Let's get to something deep. Something really deep that we want to talk to you. Thanks for stepping on my job. Radar Online, I'm kidding, is exclusively reporting that CBS chief Les Moonves is in direct talks with producers to get Charlie Sheen back on what?
Oh,
2.5 Men.
Winning.
Yes.
What in the world?
Now, they're citing sources who say he's ready to forgive and forget everything that's happened to get the show back on the air. Who's
I'm telling you, 2.5 Men came out. Forbes came out with this list of the top 10 shows that are grossing the most money. American Idol was #1. Guess what was #2? 2.5 Men.
You said something from long experience. It almost doesn't matter what a person does as long as the show is a success.
Yeah.
And,
it's a hit.
And if that's not enough, there's more. Wait. Sheen keeps adding dates to his Violent Torpedo of Truth live tour. He just sold out Radio City. Can he keep this momentum up?
No. And this is why not the momentum, but this tour. This is the problem I have with the tour. He's supposed to be going and doing this torpedo tour, 80 minutes on stage, non-scripted. You know, as a comedian, when you get on the stage, how well polished you got to be to do 60 minutes and keep everybody's interest for 60 minutes.
I don't think that's his struggle.
No, but I'm saying, I think this may go good
go see somebody rambling incoherently. I'll watch the Glenn Beck show.
If indeed they do settle, if indeed 2.5 Men does go on, then he will have nothing to rant about, and so the tour will be over. It's either one or the other, correct?
No, you can still do a torpedo tour on the weekend and make money.
I actually think you have a point. But I mean, it's kind of crazy. Now, Charlie's dad, Martin Sheen, says he knows the hell his son is going through because he struggled with addiction himself, and that Charlie's wild behavior is because his addiction makes him like a kid emotionally, and that when he cleaned up, he's sort of in arrested development.
But he's a kid with a machete. He's not just a kid. He's a dangerous kid in many ways.
Where is he a danger? Where are you saying that he's a danger? It says to people, boy, you go out there and you act crazy and nutty, and you still get to keep your TV show. You tell off the creator.
People say, oh, he's just a kid.
You go on tour, you make a bunch of money.
No, it's about the money. You are not able to do this if you're not pulling in a ton of money. You're not able to do it. I think for the average person, they're not taking a lesson from Charlie Sheen and saying, wow, I should have done all that stuff.
The only problem with what he said, I understand what Martin Sheen is saying, but it smells of an excuse. That's why I'm responding the way I am.
You know,
it has an excuse element to it.
If you want the translation of the word chutzpah, Charlie Sheen.
Well, you know what?
His own category.
He's done what he wants to do, and unlike
get a T-shirt, everybody.
Unlike us, no one is forcing him to go to break. We're going to go to break right now, and we'll be right back. The American Society of Plastic Surgeons says that middle-aged men are getting more cosmetic surgery than ever. 13% of procedures from lipo to facelifts are now done on men. What do you think?
Are you serious? Well, they're getting older, too, and they have man boobs, and they want to get rid of them, and they have love handles.
Yeah, but they're in trouble, because if a woman has a facelift, she says, oh, I just changed my hair. Yeah. But with a man,
it shows.
It shows.
Yeah. Why does it show to man? Because they don't have as much fat on their face?
Because they don't have anywhere to hide it.
They don't have anywhere to hide the scars.
I don't really like it on men.
When somebody says to you, you look so rested, and the person says, yes, I just changed my hair. You know.
You can see everything on a
Oh,
man.
that's right. That's right.
It's so funny. Men are getting insecure like that. Usually they're the ones that were like, you know.
Well, I'm told that they're doing it more to stay in the in the workplace. It has less to do getting a chick. Why do I do? I'm turning into you, because you always do this when you talk about like sexy things.
You do. With the competition and the workforce.
Though, because they're considered older workers in their late 40s, it said in the article. I mean, that's ridiculous.
I think there's nothing worse, really.
Well, what about young people? Because you're dealing with something tomorrow, right?
I am. You know, teens can get a bad rap, but I actually talked to a panel of them for a segment that's airing tomorrow in the 8 a.m. hour on Good Morning America on teen sexting, and it's something that is affecting so many. If you have a kid, if you have a teen, if you have a phone, you're going to want to hear what these teens have to say and what's going on. It was a most incredible day that I spent with them, and what is going on is not only dangerous for them, but there's something that can really be done to help them.
A lot of these teens are sexting. They don't realize.
Well, sexting sexually explicit videos.
You went to see what?
Oh, I was going to show the program. I went to the opening night last night of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, and I just had such a good time.
Yeah, it's a wonderful show.
I mean, it's just fun.
Yes,
so
and speaking of wonderful shows,
there's no reason for me to plug it, but I did.
Yeah, it's a good show, and I know. And speaking of great shows, I myself can sort of speak to a great show that's happening. I'm really jazzed and proud that the Broadway musical Sister Act opens in previews on Broadway this Thursday, March 24th. And to find out how to get preview tickets, check out the View website.
And you're producing it.
And I am producing it.
By the way,
April something. I don't know what you just said, but Sherry, you have something.
Absolutely. UK Style by French Connection features all this season's must-haves, from fresh dresses to striped tanks, and now it's available in 500 Sears stores and online at Sears.com. And so you can get these spring looks, members of our studio audience are going home with a $100 Sears gift card.
Nice. And we will be right back with Kiefer, Sutherland, and Jim Gaffigan. Star. One is, one of the best stand-up comedians in the business, and they're both joining an all-star cast in the Broadway classic That Championship Season, which is currently the #1 show on Broadway. Please come and welcome Kiefer Sutherland and Jim Gaffigan.
Everybody thinks he's Philip Seymour Hoffman. I just said hello, Philip.
No, did you really?
Yes, I did. Didn't I really?
I'm a very good-looking Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yes, you are. Skinny, thinner.
Well, listen, that championship season is a revival in 1972 Pulitzer Prize Tony-winning drama by Jason Miller, who's also happened to be the father of Jason Patrick. Explain what the play in brief is about.
Well, it's when you're talking about a Pulitzer Prize-winning play, there are so many layers to it. But in short, it is about 4 men coming together to celebrate with their coach their high school basketball championship, and they're at the middle of their life.
Right.
And they're looking back on it and realizing that their lives weren't fully realized, and they start to deal with that, and they turn on each other in some sort of way, and then at the end of the play, they realize that they need each other to continue on. And so it really is dealing with an aspect of male life that is very hard. What I found interesting about the play is how many women come to kind of have a very voyeuristic view of kind of what men are dealing with.
That's why men watch our show.
Yes. Yeah. And conversely, why women are watching ours.
That's why men are getting facelifts.
That's right.
And Jim,
and it's why I auditioned for Sister Act.
He wanted to be Dolores. Yes. But let me ask you guys, because this is both your Broadway debuts, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a question to both of you. Why? You got 24, you got the movies. Somebody sends you a script that says, come do Broadway. And Jim, you got this amazing career as a stand-up. I mean, you're brilliant. Why the hell 8 shows a week? What's wrong with you?
Well, no, it's an amazing opportunity. And when I was auditioning for this, I had no expectation of actually getting it.
Because you thought it was going to go to somebody else.
Yeah,
Paul Giamatti, maybe?
Yeah. Or, these opportunities of a lifetime come up, every 6 to 8 months, but I never really get them. And then I auditioned this amazing play with an amazing cast. I didn't really think I was going to get it.
Did you read from Merchant of Venice or something? What are you talking?
I did.
What plays do you not get?
Well, there's just auditioning for things in
Merchant of
general.
Venice. Yeah, you didn't have a shot at that.
I've never even heard of that guy. But no, auditioning for this was it was one of those miracle moments in your career that if you get a couple of them in your career, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I heard your wife put you through the Jim Gaffigan acting conservatory.
Well, it was the Jeannie Gaffigan.
We're all going through it.
Yes. She's this brilliant woman who, coming from the stand-up world and attempting to even audition for a Broadway play. There's no microphone.
Yeah.
I have to listen to other people. My wife is brilliant, and she has like a master's.
Who's the biggest diva on the stage, Kiefer?
Oh gosh, I'm not going to get in.
There.
Well, I'm going to have to just, out of desperate act of survival, I'll have to say me so that I can go back to work. In all fairness, it is the real joy of this play is the group.
Yeah.
Brian Cox is undisputably our leader. He's such a beautiful, beautiful actor. And then, as you said, it's Jason Patric's play. His father has passed. It is his play. Why I became became involved. I've known Jason for 25 years.
Because of Lost Boys?
Yeah, we started with Lost Boys. And, thank you very much.
Because the fact that the play is so popular and it's practically sold out every night, it's a theme that still survives from the 1970s. But there's a lot of racism in it. There's a lot of anti-Semitism. Do you think that those themes and what is the American dream? Do those themes still persist today?
Well, absolutely. I think I think unfortunately racism is woven into the fabric of American culture. And what the play does, and I think unbelievably responsibly, is it shows how it's handed down from fathers to sons, then grandfathers to sons, grandfathers, and down the line. And unless we examine this, and unless we actually take a real serious look at how this has been such a persistent part of our culture, if we don't look at that, then we can never really properly deal with it. And I think Jason Miller was very responsible. And I think that's one of the reasons that this was a Pulitzer Prize-winning play, is because it was dealt with in a very responsible way. You have to also remember, in 1972, when this play was done, you had shows on television like All in the Family that were dealing with that as well. And I think we live in a very politically correct culture right now, where we tend to kind of sweep a lot of this stuff under the rug. And I think we need to re-embrace facing our own demons and dealing with them.
On stage, I just also, and I think that's so well said. And I do think a lot of women will be watching too, really wanting to kind of solve this problem for their men too, and wanting to know how they can kind of go on and feel as though their lives are realized.
There's also, they don't need a facelift.
Yeah, maybe.
And then if they get one, tell them it's all right.
Okay. And maybe the drinking has something to do with it. There's a lot of drinking on stage. Yes. You and Jason, a ton of it, whiskey, beer. I heard there's a pre-show ritual that you guys have to get ready for the...
Jason, Patrick, and I, we gargle with whiskey. If you have whiskey in your mouth, and we try and keep it
It's enough reason to do the play right there.
Now, what does it do?
The only problem with that is after I do a matinee and I pick up my daughter, who's 6 years old, she's like, why do you smell like an airline seat? So there is something of...
What airline are you guys riding?
To gargle with whiskey.
Jason kind of brought it up, but it loosens you up. It kind of in the moment, these characters are drinking 5 or 6 scotches.
Speaking of listening
Which is
to
really
the-
not scotch. It's just water, right?
It's just water, but it also is of that era. My dad could drink 5 or 6 scotches.
Kiefer, I want to ask you a question about Charlie Sheen, because we seem to be talking about him, as is the country, every day. You starred in 2 movies with him.
Yeah.
Young Guns and Three Musketeers. Yeah. And you went through some of your own problems. And, and not only survived, but flourished. Do you have some thoughts or some words for him?
Well, in all fairness, I actually probably learned more about what Charlie Sheen's going through standing here watching the beginning of your show. Yeah. I mean, I haven't watched a whole lot of it. I'm the last person I know without a computer, and I'm not into all of that stuff yet. You know, I know Charlie is a really funny, talented, loyal, fiercely loyal guy. And clearly, people are concerned about him and worried about him. Martin Sheen said something that I did hear, where he was doing a press thing in England, and a British interviewer asked him, you know, I'm sorry to bother you about this. It must be a difficult time with everything that your son's going through. How do you feel? And he, as a father, said, you have to love more, you know. And as a father, that really touched me. And so with regards to Charlie, I mean, he's one of those cats that always seems to land on his feet. That's right. And I wish him the best. I care a lot about him. And obviously, like a lot of people, you know, you get worried, but it's not something I know a whole lot about.
Wait, really quickly, we loved you 8 seasons, 24.
Oh, thank you.
There is a rumor going around that 24 will be made into a movie.
Yes, it's it will come out in the summer of 2012.
Jim's going to be in it.
Is he?
Yeah.
Jim has to
I'll be holding
in
the
it.
clock.
Jim and I are going to work together for the rest of our
They're
lives.
going to keep talking, but you can catch that championship season on Broadway at the Bernard B. Jacobs Theater. We will be right back with the Cavett.
Dick Cavett is a TV pioneer who, from 1968 through 1982, helped define the talk show format. World leaders and rock stars and the biggest celebrities lined up to be on the Dick Cavett Show. I was even on, and I wasn't a big celebrity. But here is the legendary Groucho Marx working his charm on Debbie Reynolds with Dick Cavett. Take a look.
At any rate, I went to visit her and to be nice to her because I'd always been fond of her husband. I don't remember which one it was.
Please welcome the author, because he now writes about so many of the celebrities, the author of Talk Show, our friend Dick Cavett.
Who do they think I am? I thought you were introducing yourself, world leaders and all these people. And then...
Well, we did do some of the same people, but I think you got them before I did.
You had...
Not necessarily. I think you were hurt that I got Katharine Hepburn a few minutes before you did.
Get it. She was so tough to get, and you got her.
It was virtually impossible, and I never thought it would happen. And one day they said, she wants to talk to you on the phone. She called.
You do the imitation of her.
Well, she said, Mr. Cavett. I said, yeah. And she said, if we do this, we'll don't like it, we'll just burn the tapes, won't we? And I said, yeah, sure, Miss Hepburn, with visions of greenbacks winging out the window in the thousands. But she did.
We actually have a clip of you and Katharine Hepburn. Let's take a look
I'll be the one on the left.
Do you remember me as an actor at all? Hello?
Do I remember you as an actor?
Mm-hmm.
I've been told I should.
Well, we were in a play together, and I had one line in The Merchant of Venice. I had a beard. You were not even on the stage when I was on. And I had one line in that play, and I was able to write home and tell everyone that I was playing with Katharine Hepburn in the summer.
Oh,
it was really
dear.
something.
And what was the line?
Oh, I knew you'd do that. Gentlemen, my master Antonio is at his house and desires to speak with you both.
And is that the way you said it?
You had.
That wicked woman. That's a great.
You had
By the way, you got her to come into a studio. I never got her. I had to go to her. You got her to come to you.
Yeah,
That's the difference.
I'm not sure who did that. She's the only guest that I know of in the history of my show and any other one who wanted to come in and see where she'd sit, where she would put her leg, as you saw. Yeah. And then she said, at the beginning, I did a dirty trick. I said, she may not do the show. Let's tape her visit. She doesn't know television. She won't know what the red lights are, and we did. Oh, no. And then I had to tell her. But it became the perfect opening for the show, as when she said, whatever this fence is here, we should take that out. And the stagehand said, well, we'd have to unscrew everything. And I said, don't tell me what's wrong, just fix it.
She was tough.
But she seemed to really like you.
You had so many famous celebrities on there. You had Barbara Walters. You had
Betty Davis.
Betty Davis, Marlon Brando, Fred Astaire on your show.
And I'm just a kid from Nebraska, and I sat there in total disbelief the whole time.
And what about, I mean, I see before in that clip, I do think Katharine did have a liking for you, but there was one person who didn't, definitely, and that was Richard Nixon. He was actually caught on tape talking about you. It seemed. What was your reaction?
Heart for knowing this.
What was your reaction?
Let me tell your viewers, if they want to have some fun, go home to YouTube and put in Cavett Nixon.
Do.
You know, Barbara, you ask what's your most embarrassing experience, what's your most wonderful moment, and most people don't really know readily. I can tell you my strangest moment was getting in the back of a limo. A mysterious man flipped open a laptop, and there came Richard Nixon and H.R. Haldeman. And Nixon is saying, this is the words are there, it's still. He is saying, what is Cavett anyway? And Haldeman says, oh, he's the worst. He's just awful. And Nixon says, well, anything we can do about this? He's terrible. And it goes on. And then the chilling line, picture your own name instead of mine. The leader of the free world says, what can we do to screw him?
It's really
and he
moment.
Did. I learned later, much later, two members of my staff happened to speak to each other, and it came out that he had audited, the great unindicted co-conspirator, had audited all my staff.
Oh, wow.
It hurt a number of them, and I didn't know it till later. But one of his favorite illegal acts was to punish people with the IRS, as we know.
He got his comeuppance, didn't he?
He did, yes, and so did his lickspittle Haldeman. Lickspittle is a Shakespeare word, and I know you know that.
Thank you so much for explaining to me. Listen, you know, you are still missed, and if people want to know more...
People keep saying, why aren't you on?
So why aren't you on? So why aren't you?
Do you think I should be?
Yes.
Let me ask these people. I have a theory.
What's your theory? Because you know time cues.
Well, perfect place for this question. Am I too sexy? Is that?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Well, what's that?
Oh, this is a book I want to tell you about. Excuse me, Whoopi. Right. It is called Talk Show.
It's good.
And it reads just like he talks. It's a delight. Thank you, Dick Cavett. We're going to be right back. I'm glad to be back. I hope you are. Take a little time to enjoy the view. Yeah.